Shifting in my seat so I could face him and rest my head on the headrest, I said, "True, but a nap would mean giving up alone time with you. I'm not wasting a precious commodity like that on something as useless as sleep." He grinned at me. "I'm flattered, but—" His phone rang through my car's audio system. He'd been receiving calls all night from his older brother, Tom, keeping him in the loop of his family's search for his 19-year-old brother, Shawn. Answering the call, he said, "Hey, what's up?" Tom Baxter's tired and somewhat irritated voice said, "We found Shawn at a friend's place. He's not talking to me or Dad right now because we had to physically remove him. He's in his room crying to Mom." I saw Baxter visibly relax. "Thanks for tracking him down. I'll handle the rest. We're about 30 minutes out." "Cool. See you soon." After he ended the call, I said, "That saves us a ton of time, which means I don't need to waste a half hour of my life on a stupid nap." Baxter reached over and took my hand. "Okay, you win. Oh, I should probably mention that my family might not give you the warmest welcome when I introduce you." He trailed off uncertainly. Because the last they knew, you'd chosen Manetti over me. And I was angry about it." I gaped at him. "What? That was like 4 months ago. You've talked to them since." "You were still with them 2 months ago, and then we were together for a whopping 5 minutes, and then we weren't. So I didn't ever bother to update them." A lot had happened in 2 months. Vic Manetti, an FBI agent we'd both butted heads with, and I'd dated for a while, was now one of my best friends. "Well, you can update them tonight." He frowned as he exited I-69 for a smaller highway. "It's probably for the best that we don't. The fewer people who know we're together, the better." Baxter and I had a rough start getting together. It never seemed to be the right time for us to be able to add a romantic relationship on top of our working partnership. And it still wasn't the right time. In fact, now was the worst possible time. 2 months ago, we worked on an investigation that ended with me getting kicked off the task force and becoming a victim, while Baxter ended up solving the whole case. With us being on opposite sides of the investigation, it was a bad look and a gray area for us to be romantically linked until the trial was over. We'd tried to stay apart, and we'd succeeded for 2 months. But being thrown back into another investigation together reminded us how miserable we were without each other. Rules be damned. We decided to allow ourselves to be together, but we had to keep it quiet. It was for the best. But I hated that the first time I met his family, it would be under these conditions. "Then how are you going to explain me tagging along on an overnight road trip with you?" He shrugged. "We could say you owe me one for saving your life a couple of times." I smiled. "That's true. We could say that. Or we could say we had work left to do to wrap up our case, and we figured we could do it just as easily on the road as at the station. That's at least part of the truth. It would probably be good to stick to as much of the truth as possible." Squeezing my hand, he said, "I wish we could tell them everything, but right now, I'm just happy you're with me." I'd forgotten how much he made my heart flutter. "Me too." The Baxter family lived just outside the city limits of Boonville, a small Indiana town not far from the Ohio River. "I had no idea you grew up on a farm," I said, as Baxter pulled up to his parents' home. I was struck by the beauty and serenity of the rolling fields and rustic barn in the